Today we are going to be talking about some techniques to use paint in your Bible. I know people ask, how do you use paint in your Bible? Would it not just bleed through? And they really like the idea of it, but not sure kind of where to get started. So we're going to go over that. Before we use the paint, I want to mention that I have part of the page, this portion here that you can kind of see is crinkly, has been prepped with clear gesso, and then the bottom of the page is not. So that will kind of help you to see if you are needing to prep your page or not, if you're worried about it bleeding through on the opposite side. The page prep or the gesso that I used is the Liquitex clear gesso. I have some posts about this that you can check out to show you exactly how to use it, and also another video as well. But it goes on the page. You'll kind of think it's wet or it's gonna not dry clear, but it does. It dries clear. You can't even tell it's on this page. The only thing that you might see is some of the crinkling texture, but that's it. So we'll go ahead and get started using the paint. The first technique, we already have some paint right here. Let me just grab a brush. Would just be using your brush. So if I grab some paint and put it on there, I'll just put some strokes. And I've used all these techniques before, and then I'm going to do one down here. I have favorites, and then I also have some that I don't like how it bleeds through. So that would just be, using a brush. That would be using it completely flat. If I want to turn it sideways, then I'm going to be able to get a thinner stroke, of course. And there we have it. So you can paint just directly on the page. If that is too much paint for you, then I would suggest if you dip it in your paint, either in one of the palettes or on an excess piece of paper, that you dab a little bit of extra off if you think that's too much or it's going to be too thick. When you do that, you'll have to kind of go back in and fill in, and there you'll have it. The fun part about that, though, is that if you can get enough of that paint off of it, you'll end up having almost like a more of that brush stroke effect that's kind of cool, or not watercolor, but a thinner look, okay? So that would just be using a brush, and then when we get done with all of these ideas or techniques, then I'll show you the back side and how it affects as far as bleed through goes. Okay, then the other idea, and I didn't come up with this, lots of people have, but I just want to show you how to do it because I've enjoyed using it, and that's using the baby wipes. So what I like to do, and I can get with one wipe, I can end up using like all these colors. There's another page that I did that I'll show you, like 4 or 5 colors out of one. And so sometimes I will just wrap that kind of around my finger so that I have a tip to work with, or you can just scrunch it up and use it like that. It kind of is up to you. So I just dip it right into the paint. And let me use the orange so you can kind of get a difference in the color here. And if you just dip it right in and you get a lot of paint on there, you may want to just dip a little excess off, and then there you have it. You'll get these little like brush stroke effect. I will say, putting it over the gesso gave me a little bit more resistance. I had to kind of go over it a little bit better. So keep that in mind when you do that. Let me show you how it looks if I scoop up the paint and then dab off the excess. I want to show you what that's going to look like as well. You're going to have a little bit more of the, to me, this gives more of a watercolor look, kind of removing some of that excess. Okay, and then here's the last technique. Again, I did not come up with this, but it is fun to try it. And we'll just do it again in the pink because I've got a good bit of it. If you get like an old, this is like a name card, it's a thick plastic card, but if you get like an old rewards card or anything, gift card, dip it in the side, make sure you've got lots of paint on it. And then this is what it will do. It kind of gives you a different effect that's cool than just having strokes. you're just going to glide it over that very thinly like that. So it kind of covers more area. And then I like to go back in and you'll see kind of the different splotchy effect that you get. That's what that card is going to do, depending how much paint that you want to put on it. So let's try another one down here. We'll do it very thin. Okay, just like that. Now, I tried to keep about the same amount of paint, so as you can tell, that gesso also kind of, in a way, to me, makes it look like it's not soaking up the paint as much as it is when you don't have it, so my colors seem to pop and are more vivid with the prep on top of the page. So let's put the heat gun to it and dry it just so that I can show you the back of it quicker, and we'll see if we have bleed through. Okay, so now that I've completely dried the page, let's flip it over and look at the back and we'll see how it did. And to be honest with you, with using the paint, I don't really think that the gesso is going to make a huge difference. If you were to put a ton of paint on your brush and you just went crazy, yes, you're going to have some bleed through because that paper is so thin, it's going to just soak right through. But being very careful about not putting a lot of paint necessarily on your brush, and definitely using the wipe, it's going to make a difference. But if you're careful, using gesso up here or not using it doesn't make a lot of a difference to me. It all looks about the same. This was with the brushes, this would be with the wipe, and then this is with that little card technique. So you're getting the same look. I don't see any bleed through at all, so you most definitely will be able to paint in your Bible. I just don't really see a difference with using a prep or not when it comes to paint. Now, when it comes to using watercolors, most definitely I would use a prep. But I want to show you a couple pages that I used. This is a page that I did with the card. As you can tell, that's kind of the technique or look that it gives you. And then when you do one color, you dry it completely, you can do another color on top of it and you get different looks with that. And that would be the back, no bleed through at all. And then here's another page that I did. And this one was done using the brush strokes, or not the brush strokes, it was using the baby wipe. So it gave the same look as the strokes, but it was using the wipe, which was really easy, quick, fast cleanup too. And then here's the back side of that page. I don't have any bleed through whatsoever. And this page was not prepped with gesso either. So if you do the right technique with the paint, you will not have to prep the page, and you can use something like a wipe, and you could have this page done in less than 10 minutes if you are pressed for time, but it looks like you've spent a lot more time on it than what you did. So that is how you will be able to use paint in your Bible. If you have any questions, or if you have any other techniques that you think will be fun that you would like for me to try out and share, please let me know. And I will see you guys again very soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.